Hi folks, this is Darren Craddock with Survive2Thrive.net. That's survive, the number 2, thrive, Thrive.net, and Enter Health Botanicals at enterfood.com, ENERFOOD.com. Well, I'm here today to talk to you about some pretty darn important information. I put together a list of the 10 most important ways to help boost your health today. And I'm going to level with you, honestly, if you'll put these things into practice, you really will notice a major difference in the way you feel. And number one on the list, as many of you who've heard me lecture and give broadcasts in the past will remember, that drinking enough water is crucial. Good, clean, spring water, filtered water, without fluoride, without chlorine. Don't count on the tap water. This is not good for you at all. Get a good filter. The better the filter is. Reverse osmosis is good. Berkey water filters are good. There are quite a few different options out there, but the essential is drink enough water every day. If you don't particularly like the taste of water, add a little squeezed lemon juice to it. Give it some zing. Think about it. Our bodies are composed of 60 to 70% water. We've got to replenish that on a daily basis, and that's all year round. Now, of course, in the summertime, if we perspire, we're out exercising, out in nature, and we notice ourselves getting, a little bit thirsty, right? In the wintertime, or spring or fall, we very often do not notice that. So what's the good rule of thumb? Well, there's two rules of thumb I like to tell people with regards to water drinking, and that is, when you go to the restroom, number one, it should always be clear. If you can see even a hint of yellow, you haven't drunk enough water that day. So that's a good tip. Another good tip is take your body weight in pounds, divide it in half, and that is the number of fluid ounces you should be drinking every day. Alternatively, you can weigh yourself in kilos, and that's the number of fluid ounces you should be drinking every day. But easiest for most of us here in the US is take your body weight, say it's 180 pounds, divide that in half, that's 90. So 180 divided by 2 is 90. And that is the number of fluid ounces, 90 fluid ounces. That's roughly, or it's a little bit less, but roughly 3 quarts of water. The more you weigh, the more you need to drink. It's just a fact. I mean, you have more body that needs to be hydrated. So as your body weight goes down, your consumption of water can be less. But basically, half your body weight in fluid ounces of water is a good rule of thumb. Also, what other tips for good health? Well, get plenty of exercise. And that can mean starting by just walking. Getting a good walk in. Wear good, comfortable shoes, of course. And pick up your pace. You may want to do some power walking. That's always a good thing. Get some other light exercise. Maybe take a yoga class. Find one at your local community center, let's say, for example, or a gym or a yoga studio. Take maybe Tai Chi or Qigong. These are light forms of exercise, along with walking, that can help increase your heart rate and get yourself moving. And best is about 20 minutes minimum, 5 or more times a week. There are lots of different forms of exercise out there, so don't think that you have to do one or the other. Just get something in every day, and you will feel a lot better. Of course, breathe really deeply and really deliberately when you're exercising to get more oxygen in there. Number 3 kind of leads in pretty perfectly there, is breathe fresh, clean air. Now, of course, if you work in a city, fresh, clean air may not be quite as available as you'd like it to be. So make a point of getting into nature on a regular basis. You could get out to nature on the weekends, after work, go to a park for lunchtime. Try to just get out there and get around nature. When you're close to plants and trees, it really helps improve the quality of the air. So there's also breath techniques you can learn. Learn how to breathe relaxed. A simple way, I actually teach breath work to trainers and teachers that teach people. And one of the simple ways I like to say to people is, for a beginning technique, lay on your back, put your hands on your belly, breathe in deeply in and out through your nose, and as you breathe in, your belly should rise against your hands. As you breathe out, your belly should fall down back towards the floor. Okay, that's a simple breath to do. And then the next technique is try to make your breath a little bit longer each time without straining your throat, without straining your face. So have a nice relaxed face and throat, and just say you think, all right, I'm going to breathe for 10 seconds. Well, maybe after a couple of minutes of breathing, see if you can take each breath for 11 seconds. And that's a couple of little simple techniques. If you want to get into more information, you can email me at Darren, D-A-R-R-E-N, at enerfood.com, ENERFOOD.com, and I can talk to you further about breathing and breath work. I also do travel and teach classes on breath work, so if you have a group locally, I'm happy to help out there. Now, the fourth tip out of 10 is choose happiness. May seem a little unusual, choose happiness. Well, most of us think that our lot in life kind of happens to us, right? We have no choice in it. But that's actually not true. You can wake up in the morning and say, you know what? I'm going to have a good day today. And you can change your attitude just by the way you think. Just think about people who experience a challenging situation in their life. Some deal with it and sail right through it. Some are still thinking about it 5 years later. What can you do to help improve your happiness, to stay a little happier? Well, watch some comedies instead of tragedies. The Greeks knew that very well. They put on comedies. They'd also put on tragedies, as with the Romans, but the comedies were there to give some people something to laugh at. Literally, when you laugh on a regular basis, it makes you feel a whole lot better. So, moving on to the next one, and crucial here, is make time for rest. If we don't get enough sleep, we literally acquire a sleep debt. So how can we ensure the best kind of sleep possible? Well, try not to use the computer in bed. Try to put on some relaxing music at night, let's say, for example, and set a timer so it'll turn off at a specific time. Try to eat whatever you're going to eat, your evening meal, by 7 at the latest. If you're still hungry later on, maybe have a piece of fruit rather than heavier food, because if you eat heavier food, it actually interferes with your ability to sleep. When you actually lie down, consider one of the previous numbers we talked about, learning to breathe deeply. Relax your breath, slow it down, and actually focus your attention on your breath. So that's a great way to do a good cleanse for the body and a good kind of system for the body to keep you healthier. And talking about cleansing, literally, if you'll take 1 day a week, you can only do this 1 day a month if you like to start out with. Choose 1 day where you eat only fruit that day. And the more acid the fruit, the better. So, you know, green apples would be better than bananas, for example, because bananas have a lot of sugar in them. And make that time to rest your body. But of course, you need to rest with sleep, and one of the best ways to improve your ability to get a good night's sleep is to keep the room dark. Turn off all lights, turn off alarm clocks, just put an alarm clock that doesn't have any light for it, and have good shades that black out the room. That literally has a glandular effect. It tells the pineal gland, and that's a gland that detects light, when it's time for the hormones to shut down in the body, the ones that stimulate us to wake us up. And that gives us an ability to sleep much better. So, feed your body. Give yourself good nutrition. The better you eat, the more good quality foods, brightly colored vegetables and fruits. Try to eat more of them raw. Get creative. Learn how to prepare more raw food dishes so you can incorporate more of that into your diet. If you eat animal foods, make sure that they are, the fish is not farm raised, but rather wild. And also, if you're going to eat chicken, fish, well, either chicken, fish, or beef, make sure that it's raised without hormones, because that's something that really messes with your system. When it comes down to fats, avoid hydrogenated oils, and also try to avoid too much packaged food. Learn to read labels. Look for the amount of sugar. Make sure that you avoid refined flour, refined rice, refined carbohydrates. So out with all the white sugar and the white flour and white rice, and replace that with whole wheat, spelt, brown rice, quinoa, for example. Another thing that's really important in your body and for your health is to get rid of waste. And while you do that, you might want to do a cleanse on a regular basis at enerfood.com, ENERFOOD.com. We have under education, which is the third title from the left. You go under there and it has cleanses, and you can literally, I've put together a great cleansing program. You can click on that cleansing program and it will give you the exact schedule of what to do on a daily basis. We basically eliminate through the urinary tract, the colon, and the skin. And some of the best ways to keep the skin active are skin brushing with a bristle brush in the shower before you wet and soap. You can also make sure you drink enough water to keep your bowels working fine. Eat plenty of fiber in your diet. Now the whole grains, raw vegetables and all of that will really help in that fashion. And try to, take a concerted effort, make a concerted effort to remove junk of any kind from your food. So your food in your house, get rid of the soda, get rid of the refined foods, go organic. Some really important things for you. And then we've moved away from diet, exercise, water. Try to look for the good in others. It's so easy to see the bad. We get bombarded with it every day. Our news anchors and news systems and news programs tend to focus on everything that's negative. So try to, in your own way, look to find the best in everybody and learn how to communicate better. So rather than pointing the finger and playing the blame game when it comes to communication, in a close relationship with family, try to work on a technique that's very successful in communication and conflict resolution, and that is, this is what I felt when this happened. Avoid that common mistake of saying, you made me feel this, you did that, blah, 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 blame, 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 okay? Rather, this is what I felt. I want you to understand, you probably didn't intend to hurt me, but this is what I felt when this situation happened. And what did you feel? And learn how to listen, learn how to keep your mouth closed while the other person voices their opinion, and learn how to create a spirit of communication and collaboration. This makes relationships a lot better. Let's face it, our relationships are very important in our lives. And the 10th point, the last one here, is make this a lifelong focus. Now obviously I haven't covered everything you can do to make your life as healthy as possible, but if you'll use these 9 suggestions and then number 10, make it a lifelong focus. So reevaluate every week, keep a journal, say, how did I do? Oh, well that went well. Well, maybe that could go a little better. We know we all fall off the bandwagon sometimes, let's face it. We can either lament that and mope about it, or we can hop back on the bandwagon and figure out, okay, how can we do better tomorrow? How can we do better next week? Right? So, only we can pull our own wagon. So, let's try to pull a wagon that's clean and healthy on the inside and out. And you've got the tools to do that now. At least some great suggestions. So go with it, and I hope it makes a great difference in your life. And thanks for listening to this podcast. This is Darren Craddock from Survive2Thrive.net and enerfood.com.